Are you a Zack Snyder, gritty realism Superman guy? Or are you a hope-filled James Gunn fan who enjoys a bit of playful levity to remind you that you are in fact watching a comic book movie? Well, to some, you're either one or the other. You can't be both. Enjoyed Gunn's Superman and the inclusion of comic book characters like Crypto the Superdog? Well, to some people, that means you're a 12-year-old man-child who collects Funkos. But on the flip side, if you found that despite Batman v Superman being an all-around embarrassing film,
and that is dead.
Do you bleed? You will.
But despite that, you also thought that the Snyder Cut had actually went harder than it needed to, and Superman was genuinely awesome to watch as he demolished Steppenwolf? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but apparently you don't like the true Superman. You probably hate sunshine and would let your dad die in a tornado. But what if I told you you could actually like both? And there shouldn't be a problem with that. Superman's a character that's been around for almost a century. Practically every iteration has been explored. Maybe you're an old head who first saw him in the Fleischer cartoons. Or maybe it was the 70s films with the late great Christopher Reeve, where he exuded truth, justice, and the American way. Or maybe, like me, you first saw him in Justice League, where he famously believed in Santa Claus.
Little guy was crazy for Christmas. We used to wrap his presents in lead foil so he couldn't peek.
You mean Santa wrapped them?
Oh, of course, dear.
Bless his soul. Whichever soups you were introduced to, it probably stuck with you as your favorite. And while I'll admit I'm biased, I love the Justice League Superman the most, I still enjoy him in other movies and shows. Personally, I thought Man of Steel was a bit of a drag to watch. A little too grainy and gray, even though it had incredible anime-inspired action similar to that of Dragon Ball and several other anime, and Aunt Trow's Feora, who let's just say awoke something in me very primal a couple years ago when the movie released.
Mommy!
But despite me not being a huge fan of Man of Steel,
I just think he's kinda hot.
what the hell was that? I ended up loving the Snyder Cut. So much, it actually made me forget how pretentious the film's presentation was. Like, seriously, what the hell was that aspect ratio, man? Come on. I just love all iterations of the Man of Steel. And you know who else does? Both Zack Snyder and James Gunn. There's a reason they both showed up on Rick and Morty to poke fun at their fan bases and each other's films. They love Superman. They love each other's movies. Because contrary to popular belief, at the end of the day, they're both artists and enjoyers of film. Do I personally wish we got to see the conclusion to Zack's Justice League arc? Of course I do. It almost feels criminal that the film ended off on such a high note only to be canned. However, I'm not one of those fake fans who think having it adapted into a comic instead is some kind of downgrade. Seriously, some people have said that, like my brother in Christ. Comics are where the character came from. And just a quick reminder to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed the video so far. It'll help boost my video, and it'll make me smile as it's been a pretty rough week being terminated from YouTube, reinstated, and then in the same week, I just broke my arm in an accident on my bike. Think of it as digitally signing my broken arm's cast. Thanks, guys. But that aside, I'm truly ecstatic to see Superman going to the kinds of stories I love. My adventures with Superman on Adult Swim was a great start. It focused on the love and empathy Superman is capable of. And while I wasn't huge on the redesigned twinkification of certain villains, looking at you, Deathstroke. Seriously, who thought that making Morty's dad voice him was a good idea as well? But the high point of the first season was that a lot of the battles were won not with strength and might makes right, but because Superman was a bright, shining light of hope that changed some of the villains' minds. And while season 2 was much more action-packed, I still hoped for the kind of threat and choreography we got in Man of Steel or Justice League. And now, with the new Superman, we're finally getting both. The anime-styled action of Man of Steel and the hopeful energy of the Reeves era. What's actually kind of funny in all this is the back and forth between Snyder and Gunn fans. It's easy to say that Snyder fans are cult-like, and don't kid yourself. A lot of them are. I mean, anyone who defends Pa Kent's death in Man of Steel might be a bit of a zealot. But many just enjoy the movies, nothing more. And I'm one of them. However, Snyder fans attacking James Gunn for making Superman woke or too political, yeah, they're lacking serious critical thinking and an understanding of who Superman really is. Maybe it's those slightly out of touch articles that just keep doubling down and spamming that Superman is a refugee, as if a superpowered alien man is anywhere comparable to a person suffering across the planet. But that being said, just like the X-Men before him, he's always been inherently political. And if you want to use the catch-all chud term, he's always been a little bit woke. In The Dark Knight Returns, he was portrayed as a stooge of the US president. He's a literal non-human refugee trying to live on Earth. In Superman vs. the Elite, he stands against fascism and the tyranny of heroes who use fear to control the population.
I don't think that I make them feel safe anymore. The way I do things.
Clark, when people are scared, they have a tendency to hop on a bandwagon before they see who's driving it. But when they wise up, and believe me, they will, what matters is that you'll be there for them, leading by example, just like always. Truth, justice, and the American way.
Sound familiar? Like it or not, Superman typically stands for something bigger. He's an alien with godlike power who chooses to represent the best of humanity. All colors, creeds, or whatever. He's a character of virtue and hope, and Snyder fans should know that. Despite all the gritty realism, Zack was building towards that version of Superman as well. His films were slow burns, showing these characters grow into their iconic, almost mythic selves, which he compared to Greek gods at the time. Was it a misfire to make Batman an edgelord in his first movie, only to course correct it in Justice League with lines like,
"He'll be here, Alfred, I know it."
What makes you so sure? Faith, Alfred! Faith!
Probably, but that's the magic of adaptation and of comics. We should be allowed to love both films without all this hate. Posts about James Gunn's Superman shouldn't be spammed with Snyder fans mass laugh reacting and screaming, "Superman is ruined." And Gunn fans shouldn't be demonizing Snyder's artistic choices. If you really love comics, you'd know both these films were made by two nerds doing what they love. Zack is a simple himbo director who loves the godlike grandeur of comics. James is a playful nerd who loves the colorful fun of them, and in my mind, both are valid. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week.